The first day of jury deliberations in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial in New York City ended without a verdict. The jury listened to more than 2 hours of legal instructions from the judge before beginning deliberations just before noon local time. Soon after, the jury informed the judge of concerns over one juror's ability to follow instructions. Today's deliberations come after weeks of testimony from more than 30 witnesses. Combs is facing 5 charges, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to all 5 charges. CBS News national correspondent Jericka Duncan has been following the trial and was in the courtroom earlier. Yes. You've been on this since the beginning. Where to start today? Let's start with the one juror who had some questions. What happened?
So, Meg, there were 61 pages of jury instructions that were read to these jurors in that 2.5 hour period. And this really lays out what they are supposed to consider, what's allowed in order to get to the conviction or not convicted. There's racketeering conspiracy, which I know a lot of people have the hard time wrapping their head around, because not only is it saying that you have to prove Combs was the leader of a criminal enterprise for the purposes of his sexual desires, but there are 2 predicate acts underneath the list of racketeering conspiracy criminal elements. So just right there alone, you know, you really want to make sure the jurors get it right, and that if they do have questions they feel comfortable asking. The judge, Arun Subramanian, made it clear to them that they are the sole exclusive fact finders and that they need to use evidence in order to make their decision. But he did make sure they knew that if they had questions, if they had concerns, that they should say something, and someone did early on in this process.
Could an alternate juror be brought in?
An alternate juror could absolutely be brought in, and that's something that I spoke to an attorney about yesterday, actually, and they said pay attention to whoever's next up. And that person that is next is a female, if I'm remembering correctly, and she was familiar with this case before it started, as many of the jurors were.
Set a scene for us. You were inside court today. What was it like?
The family was there. The children were there. He has 7 children. 6 of them were there in that second row, because the first row is for the artist, the courtroom artist. On that same first or second row was his mother, Janice Combs, who I actually got a chance to briefly speak to when she came outside. I just said, how are you feeling today? She said, I'm good. How are you feeling? I said, I'm great. Thank you. So, you know, you have a little bit of interaction with the family now, because we've all been covering this for 7 weeks, 8 weeks. We see the family in the cafeteria. They've been very respectful, very kind, but, you know, this case is about Sean Combs. This is about a man who is accused of some very serious, horrible crimes, and now we're waiting for the jurors to make their decision because it's in their hands.
And that's what everybody wants to know, how long it's going to take for them to make that decision. So what are legal experts telling you in terms of a possible timeline? Because
this is happening the week of July 4th, legal experts, I say that this is a situation where you should not be shocked if there's a decision before that holiday weekend.
All right, Jericka Duncan, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you want to hear more about Jericka's reporting from the Diddy trial, you can listen to her podcast, I Am That Reporter, wherever you get your podcasts.